Guys, I am so excited to talk to my guest today. Like myself, this guy is a proud member of the Alpha Beta Smack fraternity. As guys, the elite group of guys who used to produce for the Jim Rome show. It's a very small and exclusive group, I should add, because not many guys have gone to work for Jim and left. For as many years as he's been on the air, it hasn't been that many. Steve is one of them, along with myself. But now he is the go-to source for all things Bachelor spoilers. Guys, check out his awesome website. You already know about it. RealitySteve.com. Check out his podcast, Reality Steve Podcast, and you can join the hundreds of thousands of people on the social medias. That was a weird thing to say. At Reality Steve. He is Steve Carbone. Dude, Steve, how are you, man?
Austin, thanks for having me. It's funny when you mentioned that because we talk about working for Jim. I started working in 97, literally 2 days after I graduated college. I graduated on a Saturday, started with Jim on Monday. That was 97, left in 99. And I mean, reality TV wasn't even a thing back then outside of Cops. I mean, I guess Cops was considered reality television, but I never in my wildest dreams when I was working for Jim did I ever think that this would be my career. I mean, why would I think it? It wasn't even a thing. Blogs weren't a thing back then. Websites weren't even really a thing back then.
If I grabbed Steve Carbone in 1999 and said, "Hey, in 2021, you are not only going to have a wildly popular blog, but you also have a wildly popular podcast." And you'll have a wildly popular on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You would have had me define like 9 of those words.
Yeah, I'd be like, "What are you even talking about? What's the Bachelor? What's the Bachelor? What are you talking? What is that? Does it have anything to do with sports? Because my whole life revolved around sports. I played it growing up. I wanted to say I was an all-state player in high school, but it sounds so stupid to say that, even though I was.
Hey, no, brag, dude. This is the place to do it.
Yeah. But I just knew that my life, whatever it was going to be, was going to revolve around sports because that's all I knew. That's all I cared about. I was reading box scores in 2nd and 3rd grade with my dad at breakfast in the morning before I went to school. Like I figured it would be something in sports. And then once I started listening to Jim, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to talk sports. I want to be a sports talk show host. And then I got in it and I realized I didn't want to do it long term, or I realized that I didn't want, I'm not saying I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go to market 50 or market 100. I started out in market number 2 and I got really spoiled and I got really big head. And I was just like, I don't want to go to another market. If I can't make it in LA where I grew up and the Dodgers and the Lakers are my 2 favorite teams, I don't want to do it anywhere. And that's what it came to. And then I just, went in a completely different career path after my radio career ended. And then podcast became a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is exactly, thank God this came around. This is exactly what I want to do. I've always liked radio way more than television, never studied to be on television, never wanted to be on television. I just always liked the anonymity of radio. And so the podcast obviously worked perfect with what I do.
Yeah. Speaking of words that we didn't know were in our vernacular back then, was the word spoiler even in our vernacular back then? I feel like that kind of rose to popularity in like the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah. No, not in that time I was working with Jim. I don't think spoilers were a thing because there wasn't anywhere where you could really go online to look at something that may have been faked, So I don't think spoiler was a word until probably mid 2005ish. I guess I wouldn't even know with the advent of the word, but definitely wasn't in late 90s. I know that.
Yeah, if you were talking spoilers back then, you were talking like Fast and Furious cars, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the spoilers on cars, exactly.
All right, Steve, we always joke about how every season is the most dramatic season in history. Now, I feel like on screen paired with off screen, I got to ask, was this the most dramatic season in Bachelor history?
Without a doubt. What happened this season is it's almost inexplainable, and it has really caused a divide among the fans. And I got to see a side of the fans that it was not very positive this season. And it almost even spoke to the political nature of this country right now, where we're at. And it was very eye-opening this season of the things that I saw. But in terms of dramatic, yeah, because you had two different things going. It was the on-screen versus the off-screen, because the on-screen had its own problems and dynamics, whereas so much was happening off-screen that if you weren't following along off-screen, it didn't really even kind of matter what was happening on screen in terms of the actual advancement of narratives in the storyline. There still was, like I said, there was plenty of problematic behavior online on this on screen, with them dedicating so much time to stuff that or people just getting sick of, and having the most diverse cast in the history of the show, then yet not turning around and giving them much screen time. As I said a few times this season, the inmates started running the asylum, and they started speaking out and started taking a stand on, look, we're getting treated, poorly. The BIPOC contestants in this franchise decided enough was enough, and they started to speak out and said, this is not right. We don't feel safe here. We don't feel comfortable. We don't feel people like us, people who look like us, are the ones that we're speaking to. You need more diversity within your. I mean, great, you did it for the cast, but you need it within your production team. And this whole season was a hot mess, and it sucked because it was the first season. It took them 25 seasons to finally have a first Black Bachelor.
Yeah,
and then they totally destroyed it by the way they produced it.
Yeah, right. No, you're not wrong. Do you know the details of the NDAs that contestants are supposed to sign, and like how much they're allowed to disclose about what goes on behind the scenes?
I mean, I've seen it. It's so long and so wordy, that, I mean, the gist of it is, I know in terms of like interviews, you're not allowed to do an interview that's not approved by them.
And that's within the first year, right, of being on the show?
First year of the from the date the finale airs. So you film.
Okay.
It's like Matt's season filmed in Nemacolin, Pennsylvania, October through November of 2020. But his finale didn't air till March, 15th.
Yeah, and then that's when the clock starts.
So that's when the clock starts. So March 15th of 2022 is when these contestants are out of their contract. Now, I think there is an unwritten rule that when your contract is up, you're technically not allowed to still go write a book and just spill every detail about this show either. It's understood that while it's a year from the date of the finale for you to start doing media that's unapproved by them, you just can't flap your gums about what happens behind the scenes. And that's unfortunate. Or else we would have had numerous tell-all books. Now, we've had plenty of people from Bachelor Nation, plenty of contestants write books, but none of them, if you've noticed, have ever been a scathing, dumpster fire on the production team. It's just been, because most of these people have gotten their success from the show, so they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. And if you do write a book, you do have to get it approved by the franchise. So they will only allow certain things. And I know people who have written a book who've said they've told me to take things out. So while it is a year, it's almost a lifetime of shut up.
Yeah, you're just chained. You got those golden clamps on your wrists, like the genie from Aladdin or something. Now this is kind of next wave conspiracy here, and I don't know how deep or how much of a conspiracy it is, more than if there's any truth to it. But I saw some rumors that ABC was looking for a new, younger host other than Chris Harrison, and this was kind of what transpired this season was their way to get there. Have you heard anything along those lines, or is there any validity to the idea that that ABC almost kind of told Chris to take the stance that he did just so they could kind of light his hair on fire, I guess?
I can't imagine that, only because of the story that broke last week that he's hired a lawyer.
Sure. Well, and that's part of, like, I wasn't believing it until I saw that story that came out. And then I started to wonder, okay, well, I wonder if there's anything to this. If he feels like he has legal standpoint, I don't know.
Oh, you're saying he hired the lawyer because they told him to do something and then fired him for it, or
Essentially, yes. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I haven't heard any theories on that. It didn't seem like Chris went into that interview with Rachel Lindsay looking to get fired. I think he just was spouting off his views that were really outdated. And I don't think that's the case. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but it seems like, because when he went on GMA with Michael Strahan, I mean, he seemed like he was defending his job. It felt like he deserved to keep his job.
Sure.
So I haven't really thought of it that way. I think, I don't know why that guy would sabotage his own job and do it on purpose or be set up to do it. I mean, because
he's an intelligent guy. Like I feel like if he sensed something, I don't think he would go through with it. But
yeah, I don't get the impression that. I just think he had some very ignorant and let's call it what it is, racist views that got him in trouble. Like, it's getting a lot of people in trouble nowadays in social media and in regular interviews. Like, you have to be very careful about what you say about things. And he had, and that's where it kind of got the disconnect with the fans this season. It's because a lot of them were saying, oh, he made a mistake. Let's not kill people and not, cancel culture this and cancel culture that. And it's like, no, your mistake is leaving your keys in your car. Your mistake isn't 13 minutes of an interview spouting off your racist and ignorant views on, antebellum parties. And not only that, just giving a bunch of misinformation when he was talking about all that stuff, saying that, well, 50 million people attended antebellum parties in 2018. First off, no, they didn't.
That's a lot
of this country did not attend an antebellum country. I mean, I don't know how many did, but I know that 1/5 of the country did not do that. Saying that she did it when she was 18, when she actually did it when she was 21. Just, even though it's a minor thing, it's just like he was being so flippant about things that were a little more important than they should have been, than he should have given them. The whole thing just was a screw up on his end, and he has to suffer the consequences. This is the whole point of holding people accountable. If he just keeps his job and nothing happens to him, there's zero accountability there.
Where do you stand on it? Do you think this is like, it's a fireable offense, he should be done from the show, or do you think he should kind of take the approach he's been doing, where, okay, just take a step back, learn, grow from this, and then maybe after time has passed and time heals all wounds, then you can come back and resume?
Here's what I think. Here's what I believe versus what I think will end up happening.
Okay.
I believe he should be done for good. Because of what he said, but also in addition to, I think this show, because it has been under such fire for being so white, I think it's time to move on from a 49-year-old man talking to 25-year-old women. I think it needs some more relatability. And while I didn't agree with what Dancing with the Stars did, I understand what they did. Tom Bergeron is one of the most veteran TV professional hosts you'll ever see. And he anchored Dancing with the Stars for 25 seasons, or maybe it was more. He had no reason to be fired, but I get they were skewing towards a younger audience. And Tom Bergeron is in his 60s. Chris Harrison is 49. He wasn't the man to be having that conversation the first night with Matt James as their first Black Bachelor. Chris Harrison knows nothing about the Black culture. He knows nothing about what it's like to be a Black man in America. And that's what really hit me on after the final rose, when Emmanuel Acho is sitting there interviewing Matt James. It was powerful, and it just seeing two Black men sitting on the stage was like, wow, this is a first in this franchise's history, because we usually see Chris sitting there. But that whole time Emmanuel was talking to Matt James, I kept thinking to myself, we were Chris Harrison putting his foot in his mouth away from Chris Harrison sitting there and having that conversation with Matt, and it would have been terrible and it would have been awkward. It was really, I think it was good for the franchise to have that with Emmanuel, and it made a lot of sense. And I was just like, yeah, Emmanuel knows what questions to ask, because he lives Matt's life. Chris Harrison doesn't. Nothing. Even if Chris would have been on stage and you told him to say everything word for word that Emmanuel said, it wouldn't have had the same impact because Chris isn't Black. So with that being said, I think they should move on from him. This is definitely a reason to. But what I think is going to happen is I think he's going to be off for a few seasons, and they are going to bring him back. I think he's going to do whatever work he needs to do. And I think he's out. The Bachelorette started filming last night. He's obviously not part of Katie's season of The Bachelorette. I don't think he'll do Paradise in June. I'd be surprised if he did Michelle's season this summer, but I feel like he would be the host of the next Bachelor season, which starts filming in September of 2021, because that season doesn't start airing till January of 2022, and it'll be
almost a full year.
He'll have missed 3 seasons.
Yeah.
We won't have seen him on our screens for 9 months. A whole new year, January 2022, bring him back. That's what I think is going to happen. I might be wrong. He might be done for good. I don't know. I haven't heard anything behind the scenes about is he done for good. I don't even know if they've made up their mind of what they want to do with him. But that's what I think is going to happen.
Do you think Acho's the guy if they do end up moving on from him?
I think Acho is the guy for the tell-alls. I think I can see him being the guy they bring in to do tell-all.
I'd be whether they keep Chris Harrison or not. I like the idea of having a different host for the tell-alls because I do think Acho can bring that perspective that Chris Harrison can't throughout the entire season or whatever. So
people have asked me about him as the full-time host, and I'm just like, I don't know if he can do it because he's on FS1 every day on a debate show 5 days a week, which I'm sure he values more than does this guy want to be the host of The Bachelor, where the Bachelor host doesn't. All we've done for 41 seasons is make fun of the fact that Chris Harrison does nothing. So why would Emmanuel Acho leave a 5-day-a-week gig to go be the Bachelor host where he's going to get 2 minutes of airtime and not unless he goes in and says, I'll do this, but you're changing the role of what the host does on this show. I need at least, 5 minutes of airtime. I need to be on every episode where I'm having a impactful and meaningful conversation with either a contestant or a lead or the lead itself. That would make more sense to me, but I don't see him leaving Speak for Yourself for this.
Come out for every rose instead of just the final rose.
Yeah. In between every single one, just like, hey, I'm still here, guys.
Ladies.
But they, the thing is, they used to do this. They used before. I mean, this was back way earlier on, but before every rose ceremony, Chris Harrison used to have a sit down with the lead and says, "What are you thinking this week? Heading into this night's rose ceremony." It used to be, maybe 3 minutes or something like that, but it made the host at least appear like he's doing something. And but with that said, even 5 minutes of airtime would be way too much for the host on this show. Because then people will complain like, "Oh my God, is this show about the host or is this about we want to see the contestants?" So,
and that's a lot of people have been like, I'm not gonna watch next season, and I don't understand that opinion. I like Chris Harrison. I think he does a great job as a host. He slipped up, and I don't agree with anything he said. I wouldn't be like, I would never be to the point where it's like, oh, I'm not watching if he's not hosting, because he's only on screen like 10 minutes tops in an entire episode. A lot of times less than that.
Yeah. 10 minutes. I was gonna say 2.
Yeah. Right. So do you think ratings could even possibly take a hit because if they were to move on from Chris Harrison, or even in these upcoming seasons when he's not going to be hosting?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to have to look at that for sure. And there's really no way. See, that's the thing, because so much has happened with other things in the franchise and BIPOC contestants speaking out. And let's face it, this is a white show made by white people for white people. And there might be the ratings might be lower next season for Katie, and you compare it to previous Bachelorette seasons. But is there any way of knowing that the reasons the ratings are lower for Katie's possibly is because people aren't watching? Because I don't think there's any way to know. You'd have to survey everybody in America that chose not to watch it and say, are you not watching it because of Chris not being on for his 2 minutes? Or are you not watching it because you're just tired of all the stupid drama and the focus on things that are so dumb?
people are going to use. People always use the old ratings debate. I mean, we see it in sports all the time.
Yeah.
You use the ratings debate to fit whatever narrative you want to fit, and then once the ratings go back up or go back down, then it like that, all those narratives just go away.
Yeah, and I think you know, the other thing is we're dealing with ratings being down across the board on network television. So
right.
Katie's season is not going to be as highly rated, but you can't pinpoint that. Oh, it's because of Chris. And yeah, I heard it a lot on Twitter, and I'll be curious. I'm doing something this season. A lot of people that responded on Twitter when all this came down, that said, I'm not watching anymore. If Chris isn't the host, I'm not watching. And we're really, like, you could tell that when they tweeted that out, their thumbs were probably hurting. They were so mad when they typed it. And they were they were furious. I'm not watching because Chris isn't the host. I did something. Let's hope this doesn't get out to them. But I screenshot a lot of them. And when Katie's season premieres in May, I'm going to go to all those people's Twitter accounts, and I'm going to see if they really don't tweet one thing about this season. And the second they do, I'm going to put their screenshot tweet next to this one and be like, exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
I think people that verbalize I'm not watching anymore are watching just as intently as the next people, because if you've watched, it's kind of like what you said earlier. If you've watched this show for so long, I really find it hard to believe that you're choosing not to watch because Chris Harrison isn't the host. Because when you talk about the show, whether it's online or with your friends, my guess is, outside of the interview that Chris did with Rachel Lindsay, you're never talking on Tuesday morning about what Chris Harrison did the night before. You're talking about the contestants, the lead, the dates, the cattiness, the drama. So it doesn't make any sense that you're not going to watch because this guy isn't the host that delivers a date card and counts how many roses are left, because that's all he does. Maybe he's there on a group date commentating with, RIP Fred Willard. But other than that, it just seems stupid. So but so many people were like, well, I'm not watching. Okay, good. Then when Katie's season rolls around, I better not see one tweet from you, because if I do, you're just proving my point that I do think you're going to watch, even though you're telling me you're not going to. So,
you're getting ready to be the freezing cold takes for Bachelor Nation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I love it. I love that. I didn't realize that that's what it was, but yeah, that's basically what it is.
I love that. I love that, dude. So Bachelor in Paradise is going forward this summer.
Yeah. So right now the schedule is Katie's filming. This is when this would have been when Claire filmed last season, March to May, and then it starts airing in May and ends at the end of July. While Bachelorette is airing is when Bachelor in Paradise films in June. Usually takes up about 3 weeks in June, and that starts airing the week after Katie's season will be done airing, end of July, beginning of August. But now we have Michelle's season, which is going to film, I'm assuming, in July, because they have to film Paradise in June. And Michelle is a teacher. That was the reason they gave her this season in July, because she didn't want to leave her class again. So Michelle films basically on the same schedule that Claire and Tayshia filmed last season. It's going to film in July into August, and will probably air in October and run through right before Christmas. So, and then you got September, while Paradise ends and Bachelor starts filming, and then we'll see, while Bachelor is filming is when we'll get the airing of Michelle's season. So yeah, they've got for all the stuff that happened this season and the amount of media coverage that this show got and negative publicity that this show got, they just added another season. So they're certainly not going anywhere. We've got 4 seasons that they still have to film in the calendar year of 2021. Katie's season, Bachelor in Paradise, Michelle's season, and the next Bachelor season. So
was that pre-planned, or was that reactionary to what all went down?
Certainly reactionary. There's no way that they were planning on having a second Bachelorette season. They've never done that in the history of the show. So why do it now?
Yeah. So why the back-to-back Bachelorettes and not just keep the Bachelorette, like the interchangeable cycles going there?
Well, that was the thing that when I first heard about the double Bachelorette, I was like, okay, so they want Michelle, but they want Katie. if they want Michelle as their Bachelorette, why isn't Michelle just the Bachelorette? And she started filming now. And I was told that Michelle, because she's a teacher, did not want to leave her class. She would have had to miss the rest of the school year if she filmed right now. So to appease, they have to produce a Bachelorette season in March. That's just the way their schedule works. So they gave that to Katie and they said, well, why don't we just give Michelle her own season and film it in the summer when she doesn't have to teach? So that's the reason. It definitely is reactionary. If there wasn't, because I also think after everything they've went through with the race problems this season, to just tell everybody, hey, the white girl that finished in 11th place this season is your new Bachelorette and nothing else, I think would have infuriated a lot of people. That's why it was definitely reactionary and I think pitting two women against each other and putting Michelle on Katie's season and having the guys choose would not have been a good thing either. This made the most sense. Yeah. So I get why they did it. It was certainly reactionary. No different than the reactionary of announcing Matt James 2 weeks after the George Floyd stuff last summer, and he didn't start filming for 5 months. But they're like, oh, yeah, here's our first Black Bachelor. Right. It's like, really? You're announcing this in June? You've never done this before.
Have some optics.
Yeah. So
okay, so I do a weekly recap of every episode on Cork Bats, and one of my favorites of this season, my absolute favorite, probably contestant on the show this year, was Kim.
Who's Kim? Kim?
Kim. You don't remember Kim? She was one of the new girls that arrived.
The Asian girl. Right?
Yes. Okay. Yes. And
she was on for 2 minutes.
That's why she was my favorite. You know, I wanted more. I wanted more out of Kim, and I may be alone in this take, but what are the chances we get Kim as the Bachelorette ever?
Probably slim and none, just because it's all based on camera time and how long you last and how you resonate with the audience. And
damn,
you never resonate with the audience.
This is all right. That's not the answer I wanted to hear, Steve. I'm gonna be.
Well, the fact that I answered your question with "Who's Kim?" probably a big reason why I was like,
"Yeah." I'm surprised more people. I'm surprised she's not trending more frequently than she is, because she may not have been on camera very much, but she's been in my heart ever since. So
okay, all right. Get her on Cork Bats. Ask her. You need to get her on. You need to get her on this.
I'm trying to. She did fine. So each week I would do like a little homage to Kim in the recaps, and she eventually found them. She found the recaps and was commenting, sharing them on her stories and stuff.
You must have been tagging her in it.
I wasn't tagging her in anything, and people that were watching may have tagged her or something. I don't know how she came across it, but she eventually found it, and let's just say that my love for Kim only grew deeper. So
wow. Okay. So it starts here in Cork Bats. There you go. It's the surprising thing with the Katie stuff, like when Katie was only on 5 episodes.
Yeah.
But she clearly was getting when I was watching it, I was like, she is getting so much time for a girl who finishes in 11th place. They must be setting her up for Bachelorette. And, they've had 16 Bachelorette seasons, technically 17 Bachelorettes, because Tayshia, became a Bachelorette on Claire's season. But 17 Bachelorettes, only one of them ever finished outside of the top 4 of the season they finished on, and that was Hannah Brown. So for Katie, finishing 11th and lasting 5 episodes was really, it's a stretch for them. I saw what they were doing, but they were really, enamored with her. And because the amount of positive camera time she got on that show, and she was basically narrating the show for the first 5 episodes that she was on. And then when she sat down with Chris Harrison at the Women Tell All, and Chris is like, so what's next for you? Do you think you can find love? Like, I was like, okay, they're setting her up for Bachelorette. And at the time that they filmed Women Tell All, I had reported, because I was told, Katie's going to be the next Bachelorette. So I reported it. Then everything happened with the franchise in terms of the race issues. So I think they went back to the drawing board And then I was told, well, it's not Katie anymore because of all this going on. You can't throw out the 11th place white girl. It just would look horrible. So either they went back to the drawing board and changed their mind and said, no, we have to put a BIPOC contestant as our Bachelorette, or they said, why don't we do 2? And they always knew they were going to do 2 because they really wanted to do Katie. I don't know. I don't know what the claim was or what their thought process was, but she was definitely set in early February to be the Bachelorette. And then everything happened and discussions were had, and this is what they came up with. Well, let's give Katie a season and let's give Michelle a season.
Any idea the last question I have before I got some lightning round questions for you. The Heather was at the Women Tell All, but wasn't at the Women Tell All, and it was kind of freaky. It was like, do you ever watch the movie 2 Men and a Baby?
Yeah.
Or 3 Men and a Baby. 3 Men and a Baby, and you know how there's that rumor about like there being the ghost in the background.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like watching the Women Tell All with because you would see this blonde haired girl sitting there. And at first I had no idea who it was. I'm like, who the heck is that?
When they did a wide shot. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she disappeared and like, she was never actually on camera. And then it didn't take much digging to realize, oh, that's Heather.
Yeah.
Why did they, one, invite her, and then two, not even, because I think it would have been okay if like they invited her, had her on camera, and then just, even if they never even brought her down into the hot seat, like
editing room floors. The same exact thing happened with Brie on the After the Final Rose.
Right.
Like Brie
exactly.
came out and spoke to Emmanuel and then never showed it. Ended up on the editing room floor. Rachel was confronted by Michelle on the After the Final Rose with Emmanuel. Never showed. Ended up on the editing room floor. After the Final Rose took 6 hours to tape, but we saw 40 minutes. So obviously plenty of stuff's not getting shown. The Heather stuff is weird because it's the Women Tell All. It was it had its full episode. It had a 2-hour episode.
Right.
I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I don't, maybe they were just like.
And what I don't understand is, I mean, like you and I both work on the internet, basically. Why would the ABC not take those interviews, keep them edited, and just throw them up online and as like online content? Like,
it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Why aren't we seeing the same exact thing? Why aren't we seeing the Brie and Emmanuel conversation? Why aren't we seeing Michelle and Rachel with Emmanuel on stage? Like, just put it up on your site and tweet it out, on your Twitter accounts and your Instagram accounts.
Yeah, you get so much traffic. Jeez. All right, I got lightning questions. You've been awesome, dude. I really appreciate the time you've done. So just some lightning. Then these are insanely random. So just brace yourself. Just first thing that comes to mind when I ask you these questions. All right. Wendy's or Taco Bell?
I had Taco Bell last night.
I knew, Steve, I loved you. White Claw or Truly?
I've had neither. I've never tasted either.
Never. Have you ever had a hard seltzer?
I don't think I have.
Oh my gosh, this is breaking news.
I'm not a basic white bitch. I don't know what a White Claw is. I mean, I've never.
Wait, hang on. You watch The Bachelor every single week.
Yeah, that's true. I've never had. I've been around the girls that drink the White Claws, but I've never had it. So
there's no laws with the claw. That's what I've been told.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta taste one. What does it taste like? It's like a.
Well, it depends on what flavor. The black cherry tastes like black cherry. The mango tastes like mango. The lime, you're never gonna believe this, tastes like lime.
Just alcohol, like carbonated alcoholic lime.
Yeah, basically it's essentially, it's like Perrier with like a squeeze of alcohol and a squeeze of flavoring.
Okay.
It's like LaCroix, but alcoholic, essentially.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
I'm really selling you here, aren't I?
Yeah.
You're gonna go out and get one today.
Yeah.
What's an idea for a reality show you wish would be made?
Oh God. How about people have asked me in the past, like, what would you want to be change about the Bachelor or whatever? And I was like, I don't really care. As long as there's a season, that's all I care about. A reality show. I feel like every reality show, like every idea has been used now. Like I don't even think there's a new idea out there for a reality show. And if there is,
I stumbled upon a tattoo artist reality show where tattoo artists compete. It's basically like America's Next Top Model, but for tattoo artists.
yeah, there's something for everything. So I don't think there's anything like anything that has shock value in it to where be like, wow, this is a new concept. I just don't see anything with a new concept blowing up.
What if you get super meta with it and you have a reality show for reality shows?
That's kind of like, well, yeah, that's like almost Inception like. I don't know, a reality show for a reality show.
Yeah. How about that?
I guess the newest ones. I guess the newest ones would have been the stuff that Netflix had. The Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all variations of. It's not like it's some brand new, like, whoa, we haven't even seen anything like it. Like Love is Blind is kind of like Married at First Sight, kind of, where it's like you're talking to someone that you don't know. It's like, okay, we get the concept. You're in a pod or whatever. Too Hot to Handle. It's like, let's put all these hot people on a beach. But usually, hot people on a beach is like all made for hookups. We're going to say, no, here's a pot of $100,000. And every time you do hook up, money comes out of the pot. It was somewhat original. It was like an opposite take on why you would originally have so many hot people on a beach. So that was interesting. But I can't think of anything that would be like, wow, that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Sorry, I sucked on that answer.
No, I appreciate it. What movie character you wish you were?
Very easy. There's two that speak out to me and my life and when I was growing up. In 1985, I thought I was, even though I had no interest in karate, Daniel LaRusso was what I thought high school would be like for me.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't a karate kid.
Right. You were just the kid.
So if we take exactly what I was interested in my life, again, 1985, Jimmy Chitwood from Hoosiers was who I thought I was going to be in high school.
Okay.
Like that was my guy, and that was my movie as a basketball player. And Hoosiers came out in 85. I was in 5th grade. So yeah, I mean, that was the movie that resonated with me the most. And then, but as a pop culture movie, yeah, obviously Karate Kid was a big thing. And Daniel LaRusso was like, I was like, oh my God, because and one of the major reasons was because of it was the golf and stuff scene from when he went on the date with Allie was 10 minutes from where I grew up. So
yeah,
I was like, I used to go to that. I went to that golf and stuff all the time as once I did get of age. And
all you needed to do was meet your Mr. Miyagi, and who knows what could have happened. You could have won all Valley.
Yeah, I never lived in the Valley in a rundown apartment complex where the maintenance guy became my best friend. It never happened.
Look, we all have our crosses in life to bear. Chick-fil-A or the Field?
Oh, Chick-fil-A.
Oh, by the way, I love your shirt. I'm just not seeing that.
Oh, you like the 1.21 gigawatts?
Oh my gosh, I love that. That would have been my answer. Marty McFly would have been my answer.
I mean, he's right up there. Trust me. I mean, I'm about as obsessed with the Back to the Future franchise as you can get.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see this, but I'll bring it down. My Transformer collector item.
Wow. So it's a Transformer that turns into the time machine. The
DeLorean that turns into a Transformer. Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's just a collector item that I have now. And I'm not a collectibles guy at all, but I saw that and pre-ordered it. Didn't get it for 3 months because it was back. They were sold out. And
yeah. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I'm a massive. He goes to the future on my 29th birthday. October 21st, 2015. So I have this this bond with that franchise that you wouldn't believe. Favorite Billie Eilish song? Can you name a Billie Eilish song?
I know her. I could pick if you lined up women in a row in front of me. I know what she looks like.
Yeah.
And I know that one song, but I don't know the title of it.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that as an answer. That one song by Billie Eilish is your favorite Billie Eilish song. Yeah. Who was the best Batman?
Michael Keaton.
Oh, I respect that answer. I respect that answer a lot because
Yeah,
a lot
it
of that, I
definitely
feel
wasn't
like
Ben Affleck.
recency
Definitely wasn't.
bias would go with Christian Bale, but
Yeah,
people forget how good Michael Keaton was.
yeah. I go with Keaton on that.
Who was the best Spider-Man?
I think Tom Holland is.
I think that's another
Yeah.
good answer.
Um, the Tobey Maguire one, it was too cartoony. You know, I mean, obviously it's gotten a little more serious, and it's part of the Tom
Right.
Holland ones are part of the MCU, which I've now. I'm into it now. I was never into it when it was
Yeah.
a thing.
And then you go back and you watch all the movies like
Yeah, I never even watched it. I didn't care to watch them. I was just like, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
But because of the pandemic and stuff, I had a buddy who's into it. He's like, you got to watch this stuff. And I'm like, he's like, why don't we watch it? So I group watched with him on Netflix or on Disney Plus. And so we're in order. And I think I have 5 movies left to complete the first phase of MCU. And I get it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's entertaining. And I think the writing is, I think these movies are good. There's a lot of CGI obviously, but I think that the story and how they interweave is what keeps people interested.
Yeah. Just the little Easter eggs and cookie crumbs that they drop along the way. How's Luca?
She's, you mean my dog? Or
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
No, how's Doncic?
Yeah. Yeah, she's great. She's sleeping on the couch as we speak.
Oh, God love her.
Underneath me or not, but no, she's on the couch.
What a sweetheart. What a sweetheart. If you started a Vegas nightclub, which you were just in Vegas last weekend, right?
Yes.
All right. If you started a Vegas nightclub, what would you call it?
Push.
Wow. Okay. Wow. You had that one ready to go.
You know why? Because I'm totally plagiarizing here. That is strictly a straight ripoff from Stefan from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking of Bill Hader's character, and when he does that, one of the ones that he says is has always stuck out to me is push. So that's when you said nightclub, the first thing that came to my mind was that character saying push.
Look, I'd go to push. Make all the doors though pull though. I think that would be the irony in it all. And lastly, what is your favorite Brendan Fraser movie?
I would say that it'd have to be The Mummy because I don't think I've seen anything else with him in it. Because I was like, The Mummy is the easy answer.
Sure.
But I was like, have I seen another Brendan Fraser movie? And I don't think I have. Wasn't there? Oh, Encino Man was
Encino Man. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know he was in it. I don't think I've ever seen it from beginning to end. I'm sure I've come across it on HBO or whatever, but I don't think I've seen it from beginning to end. And I'm now drawing a blank on what other movies Brendan Fraser has been in.
You've got Blast from the Past, Bedazzled, Crash, Academy Award winner. No? Okay. We got, I'm trying to think what else. Monkey Bone.
No.
The Scout. Did you ever see The Scout? Steve Nebraska?
No.
He plays that pitcher that like in South America and the
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Mel Brooks has to. I think it was Mel Brooks or not Mel Brooks.
I know the movie you're talking about now, but no, I didn't see it.
Okay,
I'm aware of it.
Now that's a good one. If you're like, man, I need a good Brendan Fraser movie to watch, start with The Scout. It's a good one. It's a solid one. But we'll accept The Mummy as your answer. That's I'll say this.
I mean, I'd say if we're going by box office draw, that's got to be his biggest one, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Because Crash didn't outperform it. That was the blockbuster, summer blockbuster, 99, and that was like when summer blockbusters were becoming massive in the late 90s. So yeah, I'll be honest with you. I asked that question to every single guest we have on Cork Bats, just because we love Brendan Fraser we just love Brendan Fraser, I think, more than anything. And we asked people that, and The Mummy is the answer we get 9 times out of 10. So okay. You're not alone there. I mean, you are a basic white bitch, but other than that, yeah.
And I would have, if I had seen another Brendan Fraser movie, maybe it would have surpassed The Mummy. But I literally, of all those movies you just mentioned, I haven't seen any of them. So I can't really compare him to anything else.
Grab yourself a White Claw and go watch. Just sit down and have a Brendan Fraser marathon. Okay. Steve, dude, you're the man. Thank you so much for doing this. Guys, check him out. Reality Steve podcast, realitysteve.com, Reality Steve on all of the socials. Anything else I can plug for you?
No, you got it all. Everything on social, whether it's Twitter or Instagram, is Reality Steve. The website's realitysteve.com, and the podcast, the Reality Steve podcast. So that's
I love how uniform it is. It's very
Yeah.
easy to find. Steve, dude, you're the man. Thank you so much for doing this, dude.
Thanks, Austin. You got it.